Hey everyone, welcome to a very special interview here on 4GQ TV with a good friend who's been around a very long time in this industry, and we'll introduce him in just a second. I'm going to shout out my co-host, Cerebral Paul, who's with us as well. But the special guest today, for everybody
Hey everyone,
watching, welcome to a very special interview here on 4GQ TV with a good friend who's been around a very long time in this industry.
At least he said it kind of correct.
Yeah, he never said anything correct, so go with that.
It's just pop art.
Yeah.
It's like, or some people say pop tart. I think, at what point does the letters even spell pop tart? Like, stop it, it's just like, you're winding us up now, aren't you?
Yeah. See, I had to get you talking somehow, right?
Oh, I could talk for England, me. I talk underwater, me. See, the hardest job is to actually shut me up.
Wait, no, that's Paul's job. He can't. That's Paul. We can't get him to be quiet.
I'll be nice to Pope. I like Pope.
See, everyone loves Pope.
So it's been a while since we caught up with you, and you had a major release happen, the Neo S controller, which is kind of like a big deal because that is a nice controller that you can use just for about anything when you're on the go. It's like exciting. It's it's small enough to travel with, but big enough for your hands, and you can just. I mean, it looks comfortable, and your designs make it beautiful.
When I first seen the US, because obviously it was in the sort of pipeline a little while ago. It's hard to judge the size of this thing, like just from the renders or the sort of social media posts, But this thing is literally the size of like a phone, and it's surprisingly super comfortable. It's almost going back to the old retro days, the joypad days. So, but the advantage is it's got, like you've said, it's got this beautiful flat surface where I can kind of just go wild, with sort of Pope designs. And I have the luxury because it's produced from the factory, straight from the factory to the retailer. Is I can have any color buttons I want, any colored thumbs, triggers, bumpers, everything, So I think in the past when I used to do a lot of the stuff with Microsoft, is you're only really limited to almost like the design lab colors, which is okay. But then when you're trying to sort of do this crazy, wonderful graphic or image on a controller, you kind of struggle with what buttons or triggers to use because they're not the correct green or they're not the correct colors to coincide with the art, So that's kind of like the direction I'm heading towards now is keeping towards the Neo style, is Pope designs. Plus, it works instantly straight on your PC. It's great for cloud gaming. You can also use it alongside your Switch. So it's a whole new market for me. It's just a new avenue, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, I like the fact that you just said you're not limited by the colors now that you had the limitation before, which is gonna opens up more creativity for you, I think, and for us to be able to go, wow, this is really special.
Yeah, and that's the difference. I'll never talk negative about anybody. I'll always talk
Right.
positive. But the fact is, there's other artists out there who do similar stuff to me. Okay, but if you notice how they execute their designs is they'll treat everything as a graphic, and that's what I don't do. So I deliberately don't do graphic design, and I know that's kind of hard to picture because you think, well, it is technically a piece of art on a thing, but when I'm putting things down, I'm telling a story. Remember, like when we used to do games night, at times where me and Paul have game together, and the story that I'll bring up is I shot him in the head. It's like it's stuff like that. But could you imagine if you captured them memories and you put them down on a controller, them tiny little details of, oh, I remember when I shot you in the head.
Yeah.
Remember when so could you imagine if that controller was that controller that went on that journey through the game, and then there it is, it's there for you to buy. It's like,
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
it's wow. It's so it's not a design, it's almost like a
Yeah.
design that has memories inside of it. That's a Pope design. That's the difference to what I do is I tell stories on controllers. I don't actually do graphics on controllers.
Right.
Um, it's quite a, and that's why you either almost my work is quite Marmite. You either love it or you hate it.
Mhm.
Because it's so different.
Yeah.
It's not normal. So it's kind of sometimes a bit risky to maybe invest in because am I supposed to like it or am I
Yeah.
supposed to like what am I supposed to do? You know?
But in a sense, to me, it's a more personal thing too. It's not something that
Yeah.
everybody has. Every
Yes, and that's why I deliberately make my sort of the numbers that I'll produce. I'll keep them quite low. So I could produce like I could say, okay, I'll do 10 million because these things are mass produced in a factory.
right.
Okay, I'll do and I'll ship them to all these 44 countries that I'm going to be sort of involved in. But wouldn't it be so good if you still had them 44 countries and you still had them thousands of stores? But guess what? If you were in that store on a Tuesday and you managed to see a probe design, you just grab it, and then that's it. It's like nobody else will ever see it again in that store.
Yep.
It's all them kind of things that it's all the drama that I kind of create within the story of the actual controller. It's so actually being able to get a hold of one is all part of the story. Being able to venture to your local store to 6 times a day just in the hope that the delivery guy is going to come and drop one off. It's almost like the Willy Wonka golden ticket
Right.
scenario. It's like, are you going to get one? It's that's poop. That
Yeah.
so I
I,
deliberately
I
set it up like that.
yeah. I think to me that reminds me of how Funko Pop got started. Before
Yeah,
they were everywhere and everything, they were it was special to get a Funko Pop. You know.
yeah, and it's a similar concept, and that's
Yeah.
why, especially the guys at Cracked who I'm part of as well, is on the back of each of the controllers there's a electronic tag. You know, And basically, you get your phone and you have the app and you scan the back of the controller and it'll tell you what number exclusivity you are.
Ooh.
So
Oh,
you
that's
can
neat.
so you can have a digital means of confirming how rare your controller is. So then it's almost like you can go to your friends or you can post on social media like literally I've got 001 of a
Right.
Pope design. Or I've got number 37, or if we're doing if I was working on a certain game, like I don't know, like let's say I worked on Halo and I did 117. You know,
Right.
just because you've got number one doesn't mean that like that's like super special. It's actually 117. That's the super special one. So it's
Yeah.
you can kind of play on numbers as well within the collection, which also because that's kind of what Pope's about. It's about having fun. It's about having these games online. It's about playing around with emotions. It's about having that ability of, oh, is Pope going to follow me today, or is he not going to follow me today? Is he going to be is he going to be dead naughty and like disappear, or it's that's the whole drama about Pope, and it's the same with the controllers. Even the controllers, they're deliberately set up to have drama within them. So therefore, it just creates away from being just the norm, and being boring and like.
And like I said, it's something special because there is a limited number of them. So if you have one, you're gonna want to hang on to it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm so always surprised that I get people who message us, and they'll kind of go, "Oh my God, I don't even game on it, I keep it in a glass case to the side or something, or I've seen people they'll print out my fan arts that I post, and
Oh
then
yeah.
they'll put them in picture frames on the gaming wall, and I think, what? What are you doing that for? But because like I'm oblivious to all this, and people say, "Oh, Pope's a goat," and all this, and it's kind of weird. I think I was mentioning earlier on the sometimes when I do meetings, with like big people, people who I think are like design and gaming gods, and but they kind of want to hire Pope out, so that I'll have these meetings with them, and they're like all fanboying, because it's like, oh my God, it's Pope, it's really you, and it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird for me that can't get my head around it.
Well, I mean, we've been watching you, Carl and I've been watching you do fan art stuff for years now, and some of it is absolutely amazing. And so I can understand why people would want a good printout and they would want to show that, especially if it highlights one of their favorite games, because you've done some truly amazing stuff. I think you did one with Indiana Jones a year or two back that is just, I would love to have that in real form.
I know.
You know,
Do you know
yeah,
what it is? Do you know what it is, Paul? Sometimes, right, when I do these things, because generally when I do fan arts, I only spend 10 minutes doing them. And you can see all the level of detail that goes on. And I do that in 10 minutes. It's
yeah,
because like I already kind of know in my head the story I want to tell. And it's almost like I'm sketching, but I'm kind of doing it in Photoshop worlds,
right.
And then and then I'll just sort of blast it out and just post it in the hope that people like it. 9 times out of 10, it's not until I go back later I kind of think, God, I can't even remember doing that, because I've worked so fast. It's almost like I didn't realize what I did. It's like, that's quite good, that actually.
I think one of the times when I was interviewing you with another panel that you were actually working on stuff while we were talking. You were just
Oh, that
yeah,
yeah. There's been loads of times where I've
yeah,
been in meetings with
Oh
clients,
yeah.
man,
Yep.
and they're kind of like talking, they're like, yeah. So if you could just draw something up like that, that'd be cool. I went, what, you mean like this? And they kind of, what? You've already drawn it, like whilst we're talking. I was like, yeah, I couldn't help myself. Um, but that's just because I'm super passionate about what I do,
right.
So sometimes it can come across as a bit annoying or a bit, oh my God, I'm sick of saying poop. Oh my God, I'm sick. But it's not. It's just I love what I do.
Yeah. It's like Carl and I do conventions and we talk to comic book artists, and the whole time you're sitting at the table, a lot of times they're sketching on something. They're just
Yeah,
while they're talking to you, they're sketching away, and they go, "How do you like this?" And, okay, that's cool.
yeah.
know.
Uh,
Honestly, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yobi in the chat says, "Tell Pope thank you for the Cyberpunk 2077 controller. It was an honor to support you when you went live, and we'll be supporting you in the future, buddy. Thank you."
Oh well, there you go. You see, do you know what it is? Like I know I've got like fans, but when I kind of sort of joined a bigger organization, because now I'm part of free mode and the whole kind of embrace your family and stuff, is one of the things I said is, okay, I know I've got to be a bit more serious now, because I'm becoming this global brand that's going to go around the world and stuff like that. But can I still be myself? Because I think that's the other beauty of Pope, is he's always very one-to-one with people. So he's very, rather than being like a corporate kind of thing where he's like, and who are you? Or just ignoring people and just doing what I do.
Being cheeky. Is that what they say in England?
Yeah,
Yeah.
cheeky. I kind of have to use the word naughty, because then it's kind of more versatile across all languages. Um, is and how I describe Pope in that scenario is it's almost like he's like the storekeeper. He's like the guy at the store, and you've just walked in his shop. He's like, "Oh, how you doing?"
Yeah.
And you have a bit chat. But then the more you keep coming in, it's like, "Oh, so how's the wife doing? How's your dog? Is your dog getting better now?" So
Yeah.
what you'll notice as Pope starts to become more personal with people, the more you engage with them, the more, because You know, he
Right.
still remembers. But what I can't do is I can't be a friend. I can't be this. I can't be that because it's still technically a business. So it's almost like treating the business is a how I describe it is almost like the store man. You know, it's kind of weird. In fact, I get a lot of people say, "How can you talk about Pope as a third person?"
Mhm.
Because that's what he is. You know, he's his own character within the social realms. You know, so
Right.
it's
He's a part of you, but he doesn't identify. He doesn't. He's not
he's
all
he's
of you. Yeah.
he's not all of me
Yeah.
exactly because you know there's certain things I can't do even, but I can get away with a little bit more as Pope, you know, just because he's got that kind of ability
Right.
to be that little bit naughty, you know. Uh,
And
Paul, if you want to get those questions from Yobi,
sure we have a couple more. Hope, what is the end game when it comes to your creations?
it's the end game.
end goal.
End
Well,
goal.
I'll just get paid.
There you
No,
go. Short and sweet. I just
no,
get paid
no.
that
Honestly, no. It's weird because I did a collab with Yorkshire Tea. I don't know if you kind of seen all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And it's just like a tea company, you know. It's like yeah, whatever. But I was being naughty one day and I kind of did the controllers and then I posted them and then they came back to us and they're like, can we actually make them? And I was like, yeah. Oh, right. But let's make them. It's like, okay. And but one of the things that's happened recently is now people are selling them on eBay for like $600-700 or something, you know.
Oh wow.
Just because it's a Pope design. But then I noticed something else was getting sold. So more and more my designs are being like upsold.
Yeah.
So I think the end game is what I've always wanted to do, and I'm actually doing it now. So it's fine. Is to be able to produce enough where at least some of the people who are going to get them will treat them like little treasures. You know, they will be very precious to them. And
You're
and I know
right.
it's just a piece of plastic with a graphic on, you know, but at the end of the day, people do believe that these things are special, you know. So I think my end goal is always to, when I'm creating these things, is to think, well, what can I do to this graphic that's going to make it feel to the person like, oh my God, it's so special. Like I love that, you know.
Yeah. I
Um,
think part of it is with some of them, it's like, even if there's 500 of them or 1,000 of them, still you get it and you feel like you made this just for me.
yes, and that's a hard thing to do, but you know what you got to remember is I come from a very unique, special kind of design background. There was not many people who could design like I used to be able to design. It is because I worked so deeply inside the retail world. So I used to work alongside Warren Buffett and Sir Richard
Yeah.
Branson and all the big, huge, Coca-Cola CEOs and all these. So I was always designing like super high level, right at the very top of all
Yeah.
these big, huge corporations. And when you're at that level, you're also under pressure to always be the best, and you're always under the eye of also inheriting all their knowledge. So what you do is you absorb bits from Warren Buffett and bits from this person and bits from that person. So what happens is you just become this huge sort of design guru in a sense, you know. So I kind of use that to my ability that I've got a kind of bit of knowledge on how to not manipulate. That's not a nice word to say, but I can trick designs in a certain way that make them appealing to the
Right.
eye or trigger certain things in your subconscious in your brain to make you go, oh my God, I want it, but I don't know why I want it. Why do I want it? There's something, what, I've got to buy it. And you end up buying it and you don't realize why you're buying it. But most of the time it's
Right.
because I'm triggering certain subconscious things
Right.
within within the design that's going to force you to trigger buy. But it's not me manipulating anyone. What it is it's that emotional attachment. It's that I want you to go home and said, that was the best $60 I spent because it's beautiful. Oh my God, I love it. And I've got to take care of it. I've got to make sure nobody else touches it, because it's mine. It's all mine, And,
Okay.
and that's what I'm doing, really.
Yep. This is a great segue into the next question. What are the origins of POPeArt? How did you get started with all of this? So where did Pope come from?
Oh, do you remember Clouds? I call Carlo Clouds.
I remember. I remember where it came from. And then
that's old habit.
And you were told that you had to change your ways.
Well, do you know what it is? Because obviously, me and Clouds were from back in the old talking about Xbox and PlayStation days, and we used to, sort of be in this sort of circle of people, and someone mentioned like, oh, you should be called Xbox Pope, and I was like, all right, okay, whatever. So I hammered it in Twitter, nobody else had it. I was like, all right, cool, no one's got that. I'll have that, So then I kind of did a lot of work with Xbox, and they were like always bigging us up because I had Xbox in my name and that. And then someone says, oh, would you do some PlayStation stuff? I was like, oh, yeah, whatever. I'll do some PlayStation stuff. And then it was Ed Boon, from Mortal Kombat. So I did something, and then Ed Boon had tweeted out, he's like, oh my God, this is amazing. Why is it called Xbox Pope doing PlayStation work?
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
So what happened was I was like, God, dab. Because I was getting loads of requests for more PlayStation work, and I was like, maybe I need to change my name. So I got into this, just like the real popes, how like real popes die, and then like new ones come along.
Mm-hmm. I
thought, I could do that with my brand. So at any point I can kill a pope, and then become a new pope. So that's kind of what I did as I merged the word pope and art. So it's like POPeArt, and that's how I became POPeArt. And then I killed that one because I did like his logo, and then I came Pope 2.0, and then someone was saying, "Oh, can you do pins?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, I can do pins." So I was like looking at the vector lines. I was like, it was getting too complicated to do. So I was like, right, I'm sorry, I'll kill that Pope as well then. So sometimes I just kill Popes just because like I want to change the logo to better suit what I need to do next.
And Yobi goes on to ask you, how do you keep yourself motivated, Pope, to always continue to keep your passion flowing for your art?
Lots of coffee.
There you go.
No, I think because I've always had a very active mind, like always, is I can be very easy like to get bored. So I'm always on the look. I'm always even looking on social media, sometimes not at gaming things, but it could be just other things that that might be a kind of cool design for a controller or something, And sometimes when I do the controllers, I know they're not going to be big hits, like I know they're not going to get a lot of likes or retweets or whatever, but I just do them anyway because I think, wow, nobody's done that before, so I'll just do it because nobody's done it before,
I think to me, sometimes those are more special. Those are more personal.
Yeah. It's like my prototypes that I have. Yeah. So I've got designs, some that nobody's ever seen before as well. But I've got stuff here that I feel are even more precious than the ones that actually get sent out to stores and stuff, because it's came from me sort of playing around and then testing to see if it's actually going to work or not, So someday, what I hope to do is give all my work away, because it's pointless me sitting there with 3,000 controllers in my office. It's like, the hell do I want to have all these controllers for, you know?
Yeah, if I
But
remember correctly, you actually have a couple of different versions of the Needler you did because the coloring wasn't right or
I just see I've got about 6 down there. Let's see.
something.
It's but then again, so this is kind of good for your chat. So, because what you got to remember is I'm a single guy, right? So I built this business like from just me. So it was, you know, messing around doing fan arts and then getting a lot of attention from certain game developers, which then led to doing some real work, you know. But one of the things nobody ever tells you is when you're getting things made for real, like it's dead easy, because it's like the hardest thing ever, you know. Because then you're trying to find, well, so you're trying to find people who are good enough to do the job, and then the only way you can tell if they're good enough to do the job is by giving them the job, and then say the end result, you know. And it's like, so it's not until you get it in your hands you went, it's nice, but like the quality's a bit poor, you know. Like, what do I do here, you know? So certain in my journey anyway, I've had to work with people and trust them, you know, trust that they're going to do a good quality. But then when they've posted them out or sent them to customers, the customers have not been happy, you know. And unfortunately, I get the backlash for that, even though it's technically not me who does the sort of
Right.
manufacturing. But what it's also done is it's given me that ability to adjust myself, you know, and improve things on how I draw things or how I put things on a controller, so it becomes, you know, a lot more, even more details or a lot more precious. And then now I haven't got that worry anymore, because you know I get them professionally made in huge factories, so it's the quality side is I don't even have to think about that anymore now. You know, it's great. I can just focus on doing the designs, which unfortunately in my world, you can do a design, but tomorrow you'll think of another, you know,
Yeah.
and you think, well, should I go with that one or should I do this one? I don't know, you know. So sometimes designs, I'll spend all week doing a design and I'll just throw it straight in the trash
Oh
at the end
wow.
of it, just because it's just it's just not working. You know, it's just
Right.
certain requests I'll get is, oh, can you do one of these? Can you do one? And it's quite strange because not all games actually work. Like they just don't. You try. I think, what game have I always struggled with? I think like Alan Wake and stuff like that. I used to get lots of requests for like Alan Wake, because it's got very little equity, if you know what I mean. There's
Right.
not really much to work off. So it's like, I could do your flashlight on a
Yeah.
controller, I did that, like some forest trees or something. Because
Yeah.
so yeah, because what I don't like to do is just whack a logo on there, you know, like there you go, there's a logo. It says Alan Wake on it, you know, like
Yeah.
enjoy. Uh, because then that's not telling the story, is it?
Let's see. So next question is what are your what is your personal milestone are you aiming to reach with your art and your personal life?
Um, I mean, I've always, I mean, I think it's always important in life to set goals, because then, you know, that focus you in a direction. So when I started doing the fan arts, I never actually sat there and think, oh, wouldn't it be great if I had my own company and it like, you know, or wouldn't it be great if Xbox sort of started making my controllers, you know? That's always been from the community. So the community's always been highly precious of Pope. And, you know, they've always sort of leaned on the likes of, you know, Aaron and Phil and all those guys to, oh, you should do Pope controllers, you should do. So that kind of like made me think, no, actually, maybe I should do this as a business, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but like I said before, it was so difficult to actually take a design to manufacture. It's really hard. And people think, oh, as well, like, oh, you must make loads of money doing it. Like literally, most of the time you make zero money. You're actually spending money just to do it. Because it's so hard. Because by the time you're dealing with imports and shipping and logistics and all the rest of it, it all eats away at the fun. So, but now I've got to a point where all that's kind of like that's all gone now. And we can do these huge like mass production. So I guess moving forward, like I already know the direction Pope's going in. He's going huge. He's like literally ridiculously huge. And that's good. But I know also got a very strong, highly professional team that also take care of me. They literally they look after us. They're so supportive of Pope, or just like the certain people in the community have always been. And I know I've always played around with them. Like this, that, and the other. I mean, God knows how many times I've unfollowed Clouds there.
Yeah.
I do it because I know he gets all upset, and I've got to tease Clouds. I've got to unfollow him and see how long it takes him before he comes crying and knocking on my DM door.
You played that game with me a couple of times too.
Oh, I do. I love doing you, Paul, because you get dead sensitive, and I play on it. I told you I'm a naughty Pope.
Yeah, that's right.
It's amazing. It's amazing because the amount of people I see, like they'll like follow us loads and loads, and then like I'll unfollow them for a laugh. Then unfollow me. It's like, oh well, fuck you then. Just fine. So I just kind of like most of the time I do it as a pure because I'm bored.
Could you look forward to the message of, hey, what's the deal, man? What's that?
As well, I honestly, I'm totally oblivious to it, And then people go, oh, no, but like, I would love to get a poor follow. I was like, why? Like, you can still talk, It's like we're just talking now, so like, doesn't matter. Like, I just don't get it. Like the whole don't follow
because
thing.
like to Carl and I, you're somebody we played with. I played Halo with you. I played other games with you. You
I
shoot
suppose,
me, I shoot you. We're
So what Paul's saying, you gotta unfollow him so he can notice that, so he can message you.
Yeah,
you never shot me. Like there's not a hope in hell you would shoot me. I'm too good, man.
For those that don't know, Pope is really good at Halo. Okay, I'm just throwing that out there.
I'm like a sniper king. Do you know what it is? It's like, remember when we used to do rainbow clowns?
Oh yes.
Oh, God, we used to play weekends and weekends of that thing, and it would get to the point where you just shot each other so much you would just end up like almost divorcing each other. So it's like, right, you're not my friend anymore. I hate you. Don't speak to me anymore.
Let's see. And here's one you've actually kind of reached out to a little bit. Yobi's asking, do any of the big three companies ever reach out to you to create special edition controllers or consoles? Because no one does it better than you.
I mean, I've worked alongside quite a few projects for Xbox, PlayStation. Most of all the big, huge gaming companies will reach out. But what we tend to do is because I know I see a lot of people commenting like, "Oh, well, could we sell them? Could you like buy them?"
Right.
And I think the beauty is not being able to easily get them like that easy. I think it's nice if you can win them or you can kind of like inherit them from a thing. So I've got quite a few projects in the pipeline. I've even got, I might be able to tell you, I don't know. I'm doing someone might even win a very lucky PC.
Oh, nice.
So nice.
I'm doing so yeah, I get requested. And do you know what it is? Sometimes I have to actually turn work away because it's not because I'm being like a diva or like that. It's just the fact that when I'm doing these jobs for these big game companies, like I said to you earlier on, I can't just put graphics on controllers. That's too easy. That's like it just be me like, well, there's a picture on a controller. Wow, how cool is that? Like like I have to work for my money. So
Yeah.
it's almost gets to the point where I feel like I can't do the job justice because it's not gonna become a Pope design. I think there was one project I was working on for a big games company, and we got so far along anyway. And the what happened was is their creative team started changing things because of what's called the brand guidelines. So, you know, there's brand guidelines within a game or a business where it has to be a certain color, it has to be a certain shape, it has to be all these. Well, it's my job to break all them rules. So I take the brand guidelines and I rip them up. And I kind of go, right, all right, whatever. Because if I focus myself is these creatives who eat and breathe. Like let's say that I was working for Halo, so they eat and breathe Halo. So it has to be certain Pantone 6631 green and blah 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 blah
Mhm.
whatever. It's like, how do I then create something new or different if I didn't sort of
Right.
stray away from the guidelines? And what was happening is they were trying to sort of pull Pope into their realm.
Right.
And I just said, look, I can't do it anymore. And we're like, all right, why? It's like, because it's no longer a Pope design. And I feel like whoever's going to own this controller isn't going to get the full feeling. They're not going to feel Pope. They're just going to like see a pretty picture on a controller. It's like anyone can do that. So sometimes I have to pull. Sometimes I'll pull out of jobs, even so far on, just because I'm so precious to the community. I'm so precious to whoever's going to own one of these controllers that I can't put my name on it if
Right.
it's not true, fully feeling like a Pope design. Um, and I lose out on that because obviously I lose credibility and I lose the fact that I'm working probably on an awesome game or stuff like that. But that's what happens. Uh,
Right. When they're trying to contain that creativity into what they see as that little box. And yeah, so I can,
and it's just because that it's not their fault. Listen,
yeah.
I've worked with I've been designing for 30 years. I've
Yeah.
worked with some of the biggest creatives in the world, so I get it, and I know the story.
Right.
But at the same time, it's also my job to protect the community. It's also my job to not give somebody something that I feel they're not going to go, oh my God, it's amazing because it's a Pope design. Oh my God,
Yeah.
it's cool.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
I wish I had a Pope design.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
I have drawn you a few in
Yeah.
the past. Thing is though, as well is sometimes making one-offs is super difficult as well because a lot of these like factories, the minimum run is 10, right? So it's like, so I've got to make 10 controllers for this guy who just wants one. It's like
yeah.
so, so that means right. So it's what $150 each. So that's times that. So you're looking at
Mhm.
1.5 grand, right, for one controller. But then the other nine gets started at sent the trash or something,
Yeah.
and then you've got to pay for the design fee, and then you've got to pay for the tax when it enters your country. So it's
Yeah.
like it ends up this one controller ends up. So that's why I don't do it because I can't. I just couldn't do that. I couldn't say,
Yeah.
"Oh, Carlo, you owe us 4 grand." Oh, what for? Well, because you wanted a one-off controller. So it was getting ridiculous, and I could go to certain people who will spray them, like spray
Right.
artists and stuff like that, but it's not the same feeling, it's not. It's so I just kind of leave that for them to do, and
Yeah.
I always remember this story about you might have seen it on YouTube or Instagram or something. It was like this guy, and he talks about like a bottle of water. If you go to Costco, it's like $1 for a bottle of water, but that same bottle of water in an airport lounge is like $6. It's almost like if you're working on your brand and you want to earn or inherit more money, or you want to be greedy. So I'm not greedy, so that's why I deliberately don't do it, because I hate money. I hate having to take money off people as well. Is the fact that I would rather focus on those sort of $1 sort of people than trying to sort of stray my brand into the $6 areas. But unfortunately,
Yeah.
because of the way the brands turned out and worked, is that it's very difficult to do that in this time, this kind of world, because shipping costs have gone through the roof.
Oh,
They've gone
yeah.
up. They've gone up triple. Governments are crazy with their import taxes and stuff like that. So it just becomes a logistic nightmare, and it's all because of one design.
Yeah.
So that's why another reason why I just kind of bailed out of it all. And I couldn't compete. I just couldn't compete with the way inflation was going, the way certain countries were struggling. So I just called it a day on doing one-offs for people.
I think that's why a lot of times, like the special one-offs you've done for like Microsoft giveaways and stuff that I've seen and I've
Mhm.
tried to get, those are special because there are only like one, maybe five of those in existence. So those are,
Well, I'm in the Sea of Thieves one down there. There's only 3 of them in the world.
yeah.
There's a Scone one. In fact, there's a Harlem Globetrotters down there. There's only one
Ooh.
of them in the world.
Wow.
And even all the old basketball players signed it.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Is it is it Sweetie Dunbar? I don't know.
Yeah.
Some do it anyway. He's a legend. And then I've got other controllers there that are super rare.
I have a great idea. Okay,
What
folks, just hear me out here. Great idea. Paul.
spin my camera super fast.
Yes, I'm going to spin it super fast to you. So, Paul has the nickname on our show, Pineapple Paul, right? So imagine if CRKD ever needed a fruity design, you could do like a pink controller with a pineapple cheesecake, and, you can make one of the numbers dedicated to Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah, good day.
Or you could make a design of me punching Carlo in the face with a pineapple. Yeah.
It's funny on your site, on your link. You put the poor Blossom.
Yes.
So how Blossom come about, right? Was someone was like, oh, you should do like a Blossom, and I think other people, Scuff have done one, and I think Power Ray might have done one or something. Well, if you look at everyone's Blossom, right? It's cherry blossom. It's literally the old Japanese cherry blossom where it's flowers. So I was thinking, like, I'm not a flower person, like, that tall. Neither's Mrs. Pope. We don't do flowers. So I was like, well, I want to do a controller with epoxy flowers on. Like, how boring is that? So I thought, wouldn't it be great if I did all the flowers as splatters? Like someone just like splattered a load of flower shapes. So that's how Blossom come about. I literally got loads of splatter, and I just kind of like fucking made flowers out of it. and it worked. People love it. In fact, it's one of the highest selling controllers on the Crack site at the minute. It's doing really well. People are loving it. And that's cool. And I'm dead excited for people to actually experience Neo. because it's so different. It's not an Xbox controller, it's not a PlayStation, but it's still got all the amazing professional parts in there. It's got, the haptic buttons. It's got
Yeah.
zero stick drift thumbsticks. It's got it. So yeah, this thing's filled to the guts with like amazing tech, but it's just like
Yeah.
at an affordable price, and I think people might start to sort of fall in love with Neo. I think they'll, because this thing. See if I grab one. See if I grab one. Don't be pitching me Lego car. I don't have my headphones will stretch this far. So I'll show you Blossom because I've got Blossom here. So,
Okay, cool.
so you can
And
see
then-
the size of it in my hand. This thing's just like super cool. It's signed by. You can tell it's a Pope design because they're all signed at the back. But you got your triggers at the back there. Your things. You've got turbo mode. You can put it in. You can, and basically this thing will link up straight to your TV, so you can play your cloud gaming or whatnot, and you can play on your PC with it. Like I said before, you can pull the thumbs off, change it there. I've got loads of thumbsticks over there. So yeah, I think people will have fun gaming with one of those.
They look great. Like if you're traveling too, you can use them to play like cloud gaming. Like if you got your laptop out, you play it at airports, train station, wherever.
And these thumbs, we've got all the different packs. So we've got ones that replicate like the Wii thumb. We've got ones that replicate PlayStation thumbs. We've got ones that replicate like Nintendo. And we did that on purpose because if you think a lot of what we do with Cracked is quite nostalgic.
Yeah.
It's not about a controller. It's about memories, So it's about remember we used to go to the arcades like when we were like 10 or something, and I used to love them thumbs that they had on the arcade sticks. All right, cool. Well, let's bring them into the 21st century. Let's put a thumb on here that feels like that. So then when you're gaming, it's almost like little subtle hints of like, God, these thumbs feel like they're thumbs when I was like 10 when we used to go to the arcades, and that's kind of what it's all about. It's creating a brand that isn't just pumping out controller. There's that, I don't know if you can see there, a little logo there, just on there. What you do is you get your phone here, like that. It'll literally tell you what number you're. It's really cool. It's really thought out product. And the future of it is just mind boggling.
So here's a question that's kind of going to take us out of what you do. And what do you do? What games do you, if any games that you're playing now, what games are you playing? What do you do if you find the time to play?
I'll only play the game of trying to avoid Mrs. Pope because I know she's gonna like always hit us because I'm always in trouble with her. That's the only games I get to play. No, honestly, because the fact is, right, when you're working in the industry, it sounds crazy because you think, you get to play games every day. Like I have like zero time to play games because like I'm constantly designing for them.
Right.
So it's always like, right, I finished this one. Right, what's the next game I've got to work on? Right, this game, and then.
Okay, so let's reach beyond gaming. What do you do to relax every once in a while? Because I know sometimes you just got to go.
Well,
okay, I need to take a couple hours off.
I used to like shoot you in the head.
Well, yeah,
Gaming nights, but no, normally, I mean, through the day I listen to loads of music. I love music. If there was a tick list, it's like music is the top. So I'm like, I love music, and then I kind of like my job, probably like art and stuff.
Right.
And then probably the gaming. It's because gaming used to always be number one, but it's because obviously as your life sort of changes, certain things sort of take more priority. so then you just sort of lose track. Like I used to love the gaming nights because it was kind of cool just to hang out and talk with you guys and stuff like that. But then it was like I just got so busy, I just never had time. So by the time I would finish work, it would be like have some food, maybe watch a movie, and then go to bed, and then almost do the same again tomorrow. You know. Plus, there's a lot of pressure on Pope as well because I'm working for real clients, but then I'm also working for the community. So it's like I'm always conscious, oh, I'll have to do a fan art because, like, I've got to keep that sort of cogs moving. Otherwise, people just be thinking like, well, does Pope not do fan art anymore? You know. So
I
yeah,
remember a
it's
while back, people were, because you weren't doing them for a while, and people started like, "What's the deal, man?" It's like, dude,
I know. Yeah, I tell you about the story about like when I killed Popes off. So people think I actually really died. So I was like, no, I'm still here. Oh, I just said like, yeah, I died. I was like, no, I just killed that boring Pope off. He's rubbish, man. I was like, I'm
Yeah.
doing a new Pope now.
We need to start. We need a graphic with the smoke coming out of the chimney. Every time they get a new pope, they
And
do they light the
well,
colored fire.
well, this one I kind of I was going to become like a more muted Pope. That's why I took his mouth off. I thought, right,
Yeah.
he's not going to talk anymore because I'm sick of talking rubbish. And then I thought, right, I'm going to put a mask on him because and he started looking quite sort of almost like a Pope ninja. Like, wow, he looks kind of cool. Um, so then I thought, oh, would it be cool? So I actually Googled like what the translation is for Pope art in Japanese. It created this crazy like Japanese logo. And I was like, wow, that looks like really cool. Like I could use that to like create extra art. So that's kind of
Yeah.
that's sometimes what happens is sometimes when you're rebranding, like accidents happen, but they become like cool accidents. So kind of like, oh my God, plus I'm doing quite a lot in Japan at the minute. So it's kind of like the two things are kind of synced because I was like,
Right.
oh, because I've got this obsession with Japanese stuff at the minute. Like I just think I just love the whole culture. I just love the whole sort of thing. So I was like, oh, that would be so. It's almost like all my little things are starting to line up. Um, I don't know if
Right.
I
Yeah.
answered your question. Like I said, I
Yeah.
talk for fun.
Let's see. So, Yobi wants to know, how did the opportunity arise to become the creative director of uh DDR?
Cracked.
Yeah.
It's actually the word's cracked.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's almost like a cracked piece of glass or something. Yeah,
Got it.
cracked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, well, obviously, I was doing a lot with um, a few sort of people in the industry, and obviously, yes, people are starting to see a lot of redundancies at the minute. It's like happening everywhere,
Right.
but that kind of hit me a lot earlier. So the company I was working with, they made a lot of people redundant, and I kind of got hit. But so what ended up happening is I was kind of like just looking around, like, and I think I reached out to Carlo, I reached out to everyone. I was like, does anybody know if there's any jobs good, and that's the good thing about the gaming community is when anybody's in trouble or there's a problem, nobody just kind of goes, "Aye, well, fuck off," like see you later. There's always someone who will always like be there for you, and trying to help you, trying to support you. Um, and sometimes it just needs not everybody, because not everyone can help each other. It's not about this mass support, but just sometimes it just takes certain people within your circle just to give you that hope and that push to kind of thing. So, I got that behind the scenes. And then just this one guy reached out. He was like, do you fancy coming working for us? I was like, yeah. What is it? And obviously I can't say too much about
Right.
who's involved, apart from there's some quite I work along some quite iconic people in the gaming world, like top level. Is in my eyes, I would say they're definitely top level, and I have that privilege to work alongside them, and I kind of do that, but they also let me become also POPeArt as well. So I kind of run the two things side by side, you know. And they're at the point where they're like they want to support POPeArt a lot more. So they want to, you know, make his sort of future glorious as well, you know, because they also understand the brand. You know, the brand isn't about let's make loads of money and then buy a fancy car and a yacht in a big fancy house.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, what POPeArt will do, and he already does it, but he obviously it just doesn't tell people because why do I need to tell people that I support lots of charities, I support lots of homeless kids, I support lots of things behind the scenes. So that money that POPeArt generates, that all goes back into not the gaming community as such, but it goes back into helping other people's futures. You know, so hopefully once if I've sort of done this right and I make POPeArt a global success, which it is heading that way, is the more money I can generate, the more I can support or the more I can help try and fix things, you know. But I even know at some point that's going to get too big for me. So
Right.
hopefully POPeArt might become a business that has people within it that just dedicates them sort of roles, you know.
Right.
And you go back to like, what's the future of POP? Because just by going off sometimes some of the socials, you know, I get comments of like, oh, you know, Pope, you're so inspirational. I did this today all because of your tweet, or I did this today because like I look at what you're doing and I think, well, if he can do it, so can I. And I'm like, get it, yeah, that's the plan, you know, that's the whole plan. I'm trying to give you a kick up the ass without saying, get off your fucking ass, you lazy shit, you know, like just do it. You know, if I can do this, so can you, you know. And I think I said to Carlo a while ago in yourself is I'm so proud of you guys because you guys have also seen the potential in what yous are doing and think, hang on a minute, why do I need to sit standing still? And I often say this on social media, you know, it's like if you feel like you have to abandon everyone to better yourself, just do it. Because you can go forward, you know, do the things that you do, like I've done. I've moved forward from lots of people. But guess what? They're still there. And I could go back at any time. I go, hi, you all right? How's it going? Haven't seen you for ages. You know? Like, we don't have to ignore each other. But at the same time, you don't have to stand still because, you know, your best mates decided to do something, you know. It's like you also can do what you want to do, you know, but you can still be friends. You can still like hang out from time to time. It's just like you're not living in each other's pockets anymore, you know.
Right. And one thing I'll add to that is just because somebody doesn't hear from you doesn't stop them from reaching out to you. You know.
Oh, exactly. I mean, I can reach out to loads of people.
Yeah.
And I say, all right, cool. And I think, well, when was the last time you reached out to me? You know,
right.
And I could be selfish like that. I could say, well, I'm not talk to you anymore.
Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, it's when I reach out to someone, it's because I feel the need something, as in they just need a bit of a hug, you know, a bit of how you doing, you know? Oh well, I'm all right. Well, actually, I'm not. I'm pretty shit. I'm not having a good day, you know. And we all go through that, you know.
Oh yeah.
You wouldn't be human if if nobody didn't experience that in life, you know.
Yep. So, and actually, this kind of leads into the Yobi's next question. What's the biggest misconception people have of Pope?
I don't know. I kind of I've often asked the community that question because I always get a sense that I've always done something wrong, or I've treated someone in a certain way, and I think, but I haven't done anything wrong because like I'm just a free spirit, I just kind of float around. It's not my job to sort of to be anyone's best friend, but it is my job at any point to support someone or give someone a bit of hope or a bit of encouragement or a bit of, like, so sometimes I always think, do people, I think a lot of people do misunderstand Pope. But I'm quite lucky because within the industry, I've got some very top people, like I say, who totally understand Pope. and they so it doesn't really matter if I've upset someone because I know what I'm doing is correct. I know my end goal is correct, and that's to make my business a success, to be able to help not 2 people, not 10 people, not 100 people, but 1,000 people, or 10,000 people, or
Yep.
or 100,000 people. Like, that's my goal. Like, why would I want to stand still and help one person when I can help 10,000 people? It's like that. That's the power of what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think part of it goes back to, as you become busier and busier, you become less visible in our circles. So people think
Yeah.
Pope thinks he's too good for us. No, that's not at
No.
all what the situation is.
No.
It-
And I would hate for people to think, and that's sometimes my own worst downfall is I will share tweets like that to emphasize, look, I'm just normal, like I'm just
right.
me. Like, I'm here for you anytime. If you want to just talk about the weather or talk about
Right.
uh, anything, um, then let's do it. Like,
Right.
um, but no, I think there's always that impression that Pope's this celebrity or this goat or whatever it is people say. Um, and like I say, I do get it, but I
Yeah.
just can't be it
Right.
because it's just not me. I just like being the normal guy who, you know, just
I've grown up and been around a lot of celebrities. I've broken bread with a lot of celebrities, even since I was a kid. And I'll tell you what, they appreciate when the first question you ask is, "So, what book are you reading, or what movie have you seen lately?" That has
uh,
nothing to do with what they're famous for, because that means you're seeing them as a person, not as a product. Yeah.
and that and that's probably some of the best times I've worked with some celebrities and big huge CEOs and stuff. And I think when you first see them, they're quite intimidating because you think, oh my God, it's like, remember when I did some stuff with, like, the royal family and stuff, they got the Queen and you got like, Prince Charles and stuff like that. You think, oh my God, it's like, but they're just normal. It's like
Yep.
when you get deep down and you just, like you've just said there, you go, you could just say, so do you like fishing or something,
Yeah.
or whatever. It's like, nah, actually, I remember how I did some fishing when I was 10 or something, and
Yeah.
you build this huge story of like just talking about fishing, and you think,
Mm.
there was nothing mentioned about work or
Yeah.
business or anything. So that's tend to how I approach clients is I talk to them as if I've known them for years. I'm quite good like that. That I've worked with some, like, I mean, I've worked with super top level, like super high level people. But to me, it's just the same as just talking to Derek from down the road, who
Yeah.
who owns a fruit shop or something. It's
Yep.
it's it's
And
no
those are the
different.
ones that really want to build a relationship with you, because then they know you don't just see them as a product, as a stepping
Oh,
stone or whatever, or a
and
ooh, look
normally
who I got to meet. Yeah.
and normally the messaging is just to talk. Can I talk to you? I was like, all right, why? Well, because you're dead cool and fun to be with. I was
Yeah.
like, what? It's like, really? No, I'm having my tea with Mrs. POPeArt. Shut up. Yeah.
Yobi asks, at the end of the day, Pope, how would you like people to define your legacy from all of the work you've done so far?
I think I've been, because I've always been quite clever at that, of leaving milestones. So I think, when the day finally comes, which will happen, I think it'll just be daft little memories. It's like, oh, do you remember when Pope was doing it? Oh, do you remember when he did that stupid thing? It's kind of like them. Remember when Pope shot us in the head?
That's right.
It's kind of like them is just happy little milestones. And listen, I've got loads of stuff in the pipeline to kind of keep doing them things. I know I've pulled myself a lot away at the minute from social media. That's only because I've had to, because of the way the business is kind of being structured at the minute. But I think as time goes on, and the more you're going to see Pope, in stores and doing this and doing that, you'll start to experience them old traits. They'll kind of come back, but they'll just be done in a more structured, professional way, rather than just like random kind of things, and I think they'll start to become the bits of memory that a lot more people, like you guys, have seen it, because I've worked, I've gamed with you guys
Right.
for a while, but people are new to Pope, like, so one of the things I'm exclusive to certain stores, and one of the stores I'm exclusive to is the iconic Harrods in London, which is like, yeah, you go in there, it's like, I was in there not so long ago, it was like, there's a jar of honey, and it was like $600 for this jar of honey, it's like, what? This is crazy, man. This is like where all the elite and the rich kind of hang out, It's like, it has me with my brand in there, They got my brand in one of the richest stores in the world, It's kind of weird. But it's that's kind of iconic thing, to kind of remember. Oh man, when Pope was telling about that story when he went into Harrods to see his brand and he fell down the escalators or something, It's like, so it just daft things like that,
Yeah.
that I kind of hope not, oh, Pope had his brand in Harrods, like whippity do, it's just silly little things like that. I kind of hope, or if I start going to events, which funny enough, I've got like some about so I'm slowly starting to get my own booths and stuff. So I'll have like my own products on like Gamescom and stuff like that, and it's kind of like weird because you think, what? I've got to have my own brand on like on big, huge of billboards and stuff like that. It's like, yeah. And it's like, but then when I turn up to these events, I kind of hope that people just don't just shy away from Pope. They just come up. They just talk with us like normal, Because sometimes I've been to game events and that's happened, So I've took Mrs. Pope with us, and people are like, "Hi, is that you, Pope?" I go, yeah. They go, um, is it all right if I have a picture with you? It's like, what? Like, of course it is. Come here.
Yeah.
Come and have a picture.
Yeah, you start doing your own booth, you're gonna get a lot of that. You're gonna,
Oh, yeah, it's all happening. Honestly, it's crazy, and I never imagined any of
It's
this.
like when people seek out the Pope in Sea of Thieves because you are in there.
I remember that happening. I remember Xbox Addict. He had messaged us, obviously, bless him, and he was like, we're inside the game," and I was like, "What?" I was like, "We're inside Sea of Thieves, man," and I was like, "What do you mean we're inside Sea of Thieves?" He's like, "Look here, I quickly took a sneaky pitch when I was at E3." I was like, "What? What? I'm a skeleton?"
Yeah.
It's like, "No, man, you got your book in there. was like, all right. Bless him. Do you know, I mean, me and him sort of kind of started this whole. So I did a couple of fan arts back in the day, but then he cottoned on. He was like, "Oh, can you make that?" I was like, "Well, you know how Xbox Addict was like, he had everything Xbox. Like it was like unbelievable. He had like the world's biggest collection, I think." And so he was like, he kept commissioning us to do designs for him. I was like, so then me and him just decided to just sort of like do crazy stuff for developers and things. And then the freaking poor bugger freaking died. I was like, we're just getting good as well. It's like, what? He's no longer with. Where I was like, oh, you know, because we're just getting warmed up. We're just getting like this thing was going to become like me and him just doing these crazy things. So I kind of still kept that mission going, you know, just because I knew how important he was getting. Because in chats, but he was like a Duracell bunny on speed, you know, Xbox Addict, you know. He was like once he had an idea in his head, he was like, yeah, we could do this, we could do it. And I was like, fucking calm down, settle down. You know, it's like let's just take a chill pill for a second. You know, but I kind of do miss some of them days, you know.
Yes. All right. So as we're going to wrap this up, I'm going to ask you a question we ask everybody we interview, and this one's going to be a live response. So check yourself. No. Yeah. So pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. That's it. The interview's over. Get out. No.
I already said that because I knew it would hurt Carlo. It's like I could feel the dagger going into him. It was just like, oh, that hurts. Honestly, I mean, I think pizza's one of the most amazing foods ever in the world, ever invented. So I don't actually mind it, to be fair. I've had it, and yeah, it was all right. But it's not my go-to pizza. You know, clowns will know what my go-to pizza is.
Oh yeah, clowns. What's his go-to pizza?
Beans on pizza?
No, calzone.
Calzone.
Yes.
There you go. Yeah.
I have a calzone everywhere I go. I have a calzone.
At least he didn't say Marmite, okay? Because that's stuff. No, just.
I don't think I've ever. So true story. You know, Seamus Blackley, right? The godfather of Xbox.
Oh yeah.
So he phones us up, right? He's like, I don't know, he's yakking on about something. He's like, he's swearing at us and that. Oh, you fuck out. I was like, Seamus, settle down. Like, I don't even know you. No, I mean, I did know him. And he started like saying, send us your address, right? I was like, no, I'm not giving you my address. He's like, send us your address. And I was like, why you want me address for? He's like, I want to send you some Marmite. I was like, what? He's like, Seamus, you send us some Marmite. He's like, yeah, but it's special Marmite. It's like this limited edition. I was like, fuck off. No, I don't want your Marmite. So I tend to get lost. I was like, I don't want your Marmite. That's a true story. Seamus Blackley.
Seamus follows me. I'm going to have to ask him for some Marmite. There you go. Some of the
well, you can say, do you know that crap you were going to send Pope? Can you send it to me instead? I haven't spoken to Seamus in a while, actually. I hope he's doing all right. I got sick of reading about bread. Fucking hell, bread, man, bread.
I'll tell you what, though, some of the bread he shows that he makes looks really good. I gotta say.
I'm gonna have to curate a list of pineapple people for Paul.
No.
I can eat certain breads. Certain breads they don't agree with me guts a bit. But no. Joys are getting old, you see.
Yep.
See, I am getting a bit silver fox at the bottom there, like.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
Silver fox.
Oh, not me. I'm not close to that yet.
I have to wear a cap because I'm actually going bald on top. It's like,
yeah, I don't have that problem. Not at all. I got enough hair going here for me, you, Carl,
like
and 6 other people.
Your hair, right, is almost like an upside down version of Clown's beard.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like if you turned it upside down,
Yeah.
you'd be like,
What's funny is if I let my beard grow out, the beard's white. So I got the gray on top and the white beard. So yeah,
Oh,
see,
so
I
he
just like,
would be somebody from Lord of the Rings. You hear him?
yeah, yeah.
or a shit Santa Claus.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's not a bad
Yeah.
idea.
I'm what happens when a spell goes wrong. Okay.
I wouldn't know anything about Lord of the Rings, me.
Oh, there. See, now Pub, you just gave me a great idea. So if Cracked ever does a Christmas controller or a holiday controller, you could just do a Santa Claus and make it look like Paw.
There you go.
Yeah. Just a shit Santa Claus.
Yes.
Wow. Did you just say looking like me would be a shit Santa Claus?
Wow, that's good.
I'm gonna...
Say, I knew you needed a. I only said that because I knew you recorded it.
That's right, I am.
So next week I'll talk to Jay. So maybe I'm running is I'll make a pineapple with your face, but you as Santa Claus.
Well, Jay's done that before. There is actually an image of me with a Santa Claus hat on.
Is that like graphic god, Jay?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen him for ages. Is he still doing all right?
He
Oh, yeah.
is. Yeah.
Does he still know about me? Or
He
is
does.
He
or
does.
Does he not love us anymore?
No, he's
He's
still. He's
Like, Pup's got too big. I don't
no,
love
no,
him
no.
anymore."
He just like when you go on your unfollow sprees. He's like me and him were like, oh, Pope unfollowed us. What happened?
Well, he never come back. He never started knocking on my door again. So I was like, oh well, doesn't matter then. Bye. No, I haven't spoken for ages. I hope he's doing all right.
He is. Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah,
trying to
he's-
think of a few other people. I was like, God, if I like knocking around with them years ago, and then you find like they've blocked you. I was like, what? The hell?
Wow, yeah.
I've not spoken to you for like 10 years. I was like, well, that's exaggerating. I haven't spoken to you for years. Like, but you blocked us. And I just think sometimes when you, and this doesn't bother me, I couldn't care. But I think as a brand, as well as when you're starting to become successful, you get a lot of jealousy, don't you? Like, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I can't believe it. I was like, really? Like, it's not my fault.
Yeah.
It's not my fault if my brand's grown, It's like, but I think as long as people know deep down, and I do try to remember people, is I'm just a pure wind up because do you know what it is? There's too much crap going on. We see people die, get killed in wars and all that, and people losing their jobs and all that. And it's like, why do I need to also?
Yeah.
Why do I also need to sort of amplify that by telling loads of people when I can just keep my mouth shut and talk and just tell a stupid joke or do something silly on the internet that is just going to stop people having to like think of that or worry about that, or you know what I mean? And I think that's how I prefer to do things, is because why should we always have to, like, I constantly, man, I see the same people tweeting the same stuff, man. It's like, oh, yawn. Like, when are you going to start moving on and just enjoy life? Like, we're all going to be in the grave one day, so just enjoy it. Like, just have fun with it.
Yeah. I do some of the same when people are always like, well, why don't you speak on this? How come you? Because there's more important things in life than some of this petty stuff. You know.
Actually, I've just realized who Yobi is. The guy with the red glasses.
Yeah, that's exactly who it is. Yeah.
And who's like, who he does the that made up wrestling stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he loves wrestling. Yeah.
Like, but the pretendy wrestling. Isn't that right?
Pretendy wrestling.
Wow.
Do you know what it is? I know for a fact he's kicking off right now because I know that kind of winds him up. See, I'm being a naughty pope. You say,
you naughty pope. Yeah.
That was special for him. That was.
Daz likes beans on toast, Pope. That's his favorite thing. By the way,
Aye, Daz. Remember Daz?
Beans on toast. Yeah. He's the guy with the very thick UK accent. speaks proper English, and it's so proper that most Americans can't understand him.
Honestly, I can't even understand him, and I'm from England. Honestly, his accent's not proper English.
No, the ones I can't understand are the Welsh. I can't understand the Welsh at all when they go full Welsh. Nope, no. Ah,
God, I wonder
anyway,
how Europe's getting on. Should message him now that he's following us now. Like, see,
Yeah.
I told you, man, he's all come back at the end. Cannot resist the Pope love, you see.
Yep, I mean that's right. And Pope gave me a great idea. We should do a fundraiser stream with Paul eating pineapples and hot sauce. That's a great idea.
I've offered to do that before, but there's better be some money involved. Because
Oh, could set up a little donation.
yeah, there you go.
I think what we'll do is let's do because it's always difficult in my job because I'm under so many NDAs. It's
Right.
crazy. So I'm always conscious of what I can and can't say, but maybe we'll do like a recap. The recap of Pope. Did I tell you Forbes? Do you know Forbes? Forbes. I guess they're kind of big on the Forbes magazine or whatnot.
Yeah.
They want to do a story on POPeArt.
They've actually done a story on me actually a few
Ah,
years ago.
they
I've
said,
been
"Oh,
in
can-"
Forbes. Yeah.
I was like, what? Do you want to do a story on me? Because they just think the whole story's kind of
Yeah.
cool. That,
I think your story is cool, actually. With all your
Yeah.
the way you've come from, where you came from, and where you are now is actually a great story.
and I think as well, I've got my personal invisible disabilities as well, so I think it's good that I can stand up for those type of people who, back in my day, it was like, oh, you're rubbish, or you're just because you can't read and write, like you have to go into special class and stuff like that. But I think those type of days are gone, like what we used to have to go through.
Oh
I think
yeah.
there's the kids nowadays, they get a huge amount of support, like special ability teachers and stuff, it's good to see. But I think
But I know when I was coming up, that wasn't there, and when you were coming up, a lot of that
nah,
wasn't there. It's
we
because
just
of
got
you.
bullied,
Yeah, it's because of you and me that a lot of that is there.
But I think as well, kind of stand the test of ground that at least, these people, because once they get in the industry, that's when it can also like go downhill for them because they've
Right.
lost the support. But then because we're old school, we can still give that support if they need it,
Right.
because we kind of know what the pain they're going through right now, So we've kind of wore the t-shirt.
Yeah.
Well, Pope, I want to thank you for hanging out with us today. It's always a pleasure catching up and talking to you.
I was nearly going to have a beard as long as yours if it kept going on.
Mine used to be down further, actually, but I got cut because problem is I like to twirl it, so then it starts going both ways, and then it looks weird, so my wife keeps having me get it cut.
Do you think if you shaved it off for charity, you would look like 10-year-old?
I would, yes. I got a baby face.
You just look like just turned 10 yesterday.
Yes, I would. Yes, I would.
See the fun you get with Pope. You see, I can wind you up and I can tease you.
No, Pope is a lot of fun, and I think a lot of people, they don't know that about you, but you're a lot of fun.
And this is why I agreed to sort of do these type of shows, because, like I say, when people only see the avatar or some silly tweets here and there, but they don't actually know that I'm actually quite down to earth.
Yeah.
And I just love to have a joke and a laugh. I will say hi to Jay for us.
Yeah. Oh yes, we will. We will tell Jay you said hello, and he'll go,
love
Pope,
you.
Pope who? Pope.
Yeah. Oh, that dick. No, to see what it's great. Love it.
I'm looking forward to see what you got coming. I know you said you got a lot. You got a lot in the works, and a lot of it's about to be revealed. So we'll be keeping an eye out. So.
No, you are really going to enjoy it. Some big names actually.
Nice.
I'm definitely going to pick up one of those Neo S controllers that you've done. I like
the Neo.
Yes, yes. I like it, and I think that would be perfect for me to travel with.
Yeah.
And do you know what it is? I think people are, because the reason why, you know, these things take time to, you know, to grow on people is because you know, they're not experiencing it, they're not feeling it and its
Right.
potential, you know. So I think once we get over that hurdle and people have got these in their hands, I mean, Nitro Deck's been doing amazing. People are like giving that thing amazing reviews. You know, you simply just put your switch screen in there, versus this, you know, which is
Right.
you can literally just, like you said, take it anywhere.
You know what got my attention about that is it's got the offset sticks, because a lot of those things don't have the and I prefer the offset sticks. It's easier for my hands to do it. Yeah.
Oh, exactly. But there's loads of possibilities, you know, for
Yeah.
other iterations in the future, and
Yep.
because that's what Crack's about. Crack's about creating premium hardware. You know, I'm just lucky that I get to also do some crazy custom art on them as well. You know,
Yeah.
so I'm quite privileged that I get that luxury. You know, but they're amazing group of people, honestly. And they're just you know fairly young, and they're just passionate about the gaming industry just like we are. Probably a bit more passionate than you actually think. That they kind of want to, you know,
Yeah.
bring back people's memories from the past as it is in forms of kind of retro ways as well.
And your passion shows. I mean, it really does. Everything that you do, you can tell that it's done. It's not just done to do it. It's you actually put a lot of thought into every piece you do.
Well, like I say, I've even cancelled big jobs working
Yeah.
along some huge people just because I felt the consumer wasn't going to get the true Pope experience, and in my eyes, that's the main goal. It's not about putting money in the bank, you know. Like
Right.
you have to experience Pope, you know. You have to go on the journey with them, you know. And it's the same with clients. When I'm working with clients, the first thing I'll say to them is, you know, enjoy the ride, you know,
Yeah.
because you do not know what's going to happen. Like you guys will not know what I'm going to do with the post after this stream. You know, it's like
Yeah.
it's so spontaneous for what I do. It's crazy, you know.
But that's good. Thanks for joining us. This has been a lot of fun. It was nice
Abs-
catching up with you too.
Absolutely.
Me black currant, yeah, you see.
There you go.
Oh, nice.
It's nearly 1 o'clock.